how good do you think this defense can be this fall? You just mentioned him, TJ healthy now. Minkah, ever since you got him, is just a flat out star. No big deal. You've just gone back to back double digit sack seasons, still kicking ass, taking names. Just Terrell Austin, coming back as a defensive coordinator. It wasn't that I was thinking about it this year, or I mean, when I was looking at his name as your defensive coordinator, it wasn't that long ago that he was viewed as like the next star defensive head coach back when he was with the Lions. So, you have a big year. Who knows? He could go off and be a head coach really quickly. How good, how high is the ceiling for this defense with the unit and the players you have?
What did Jordan say? The ceiling is the roof.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for us, it's just about answering that call every single week. Do we have the talent and we have the guys to do it? Yes, but it's something that has to be answered every week. I don't think the best defense is crowned after 1 week, and I don't think it's crowned after 2 weeks. To be the best defense in our league, you need a crown on your head that's saying you're the Super Bowl champion. And, to do that, you got to do it every week. We can't be taking weeks off. We can't have those blunders where, a running back, had some yards. It's got to be consistently, our goal to dominate every which way on defense because we have the guys to do it, making the back end, our inside linebackers, our corners with Pat P, our outside linebackers with Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt, myself, Larry Ogunjobi have to lead the crew. We have leaders at every spot that, there shouldn't be looking around looking for others to do it. We should be able to do it.
Do you guys start implementing anything in the offseason when you have a week one opponent that's an uncommon opponent like the 49ers to just do some base stuff? Like, did you do any of that in OTAs, or is that something that you get into training camp?
That's more individually, I think, right now. I think coaches break it down individually, don't always share with players, and players do it individually as well, just to really, become familiar with their opponent so you can really start to gauge where you need to go and what you got to take advantage of and what they're going to do. 49ers are a really good team. They got one of my guys and Javon Hargrave over there now. And
monster.
Yeah. And to go along with that, you got Nick Bosa. So, you got two guys that can easily go off for 2 to 3 sacks a game. So we got our work cut out for them. But, I think everybody's just really looking at tape by themselves and seeing how they can develop and be better going into that week one.
Like when you have teams in your division that make coordinator changes, like the Ravens, for example, now that we know Lamar's coming back, but they get a new offensive coordinator, or even like the Browns. I know you played him at the end of the year when Deshaun was back, but it's kind of hard to judge him given how far. Is that something you keep an eye on and over the offseason start making mental notes to offensive schemes with new coaches coming in on a team? Obviously, it's not just your rival, but it's a team you play multiple times a year.
I think right now you kind of try to look at that. It can be tougher because there's not a lot of film in that system with those group of guys. Individually, you can look at those players and say, this is what they're capable of. This is what they've done. This is what they've shown on tape. But, in a different scheme, I'm really big on looking at preseason tape. Week one is always a blunder because there are a million things going on. Yeah. And everybody thinks they have the smartest playbook going in. And so they're going to try a million things, try to confuse you. But you have to stay true to your technique and your craft and can't take as many chances in that week one because, so many guys are dialing up things.
You think the Ravens, who their offense, once they got Lamar implemented, was pretty unique relative to the rest of the NFL in terms of their run scheme?
You have to think so. I think.
Do you think that stays? Because they've talked about, I don't know, you follow it like some of us do, the headlines, they're going to get a little more pass happy, that maybe the run scheme, do they become like a 4-5 wide receiver spread it out offense, which feels like you guys wouldn't complain about.
Yeah, that is the complete opposite of the Ravens. You look at those games, they're going out there with 3 tight ends, 2 tight ends, and a fullback. How many teams were carrying a fullback in the NFL last year? Not that many.
No.
And so, they had a recipe for success, and they were doing it without Lamar half of the year. So it's going to be different for them. But, you know, I wonder if there's going to have to be a mixture of both, whether it's staying on the same page if you had last year, adding some things, adding some wrinkles, because that running game is second to none, man. It's not often that you get, you know, multiple running backs, your quarterback running for a bunch. That's very rare in our league because quarterbacks don't last long when you do that, but we'll see what they're going to do going forward. I think Lamar said he wants to throw for 4,000, so or 6,000, you name it. So
Yeah,
we'll just
never
be
know
ready
these
for it all.
days.